Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Taylor Talks Tales. Today I'm going to be doing a Christmas recommendations video, specifically creepy Christmas recommendations. So all of these, the books and the movies are all going to have elements of horror or creepiness to them. Can't believe that Christmas Eve's tomorrow. The month of December just flew by for me, so yeah, let's get started. The books are at the beginning, and then I have a couple movies at the end. So if you guys want to jump to the movies, I'll put a timestamp at the bottom. For the books, just stay tuned. Alright, so the first book that I have to recommend it's become a new classic for me. Going forward, I'm going to really want to reread this every Christmas time because it's fast-paced, it's very, very entertaining, very creative stories, all that. And that's a short story collection, and that is Hark the Herald Angels Scream, edited by Christopher Golden, and it has so many fantastic authors who contributed to this, like Seanan McGuire, Jonathan Mayberry, Joe Lansdale, just a lot of classic horror or fantasy or sci-fi authors. Also, I really enjoy this pulpy, awesome cover, including the font. Just everything about this book is well put together. Just like with all short story collections, there's usually one or two that you don't really engage with, but for the most part, all the stories fit well together. They all have elements of, Christmas, holidays. There's a lot of folklore and mythology in these stories too that were really, really cool. I think my favorite story was probably the one where there's these, this guy buys these little animated figures that only animate on Christmas, and the ending of that story blew me away. In fact, several of the stories in this have really solid endings, or really they're just really well put together and just perfect for the holiday season. Perfect if you want to get scared or creeped out or horrified or just have some fun. So definitely check this out. You can get it on Amazon for pretty cheap right now. It's very entertaining. This is going to be a Christmas reread for me going forward. Next one I have is, I ended up getting this, and just because I want all the artwork done by the artist and illustrator in this little book. It's tiny. You can just flip through it in like 5 minutes, but it's called The 12 Terrors of Christmas by John Updike, but I mainly got it because of Edward Gorey. I really enjoy Edward Gorey's artwork a lot. He just reminds me a lot of Tim Burton, and I feel like Tim Burton was probably really inspired by him. So he's done all kinds of illustrations. You've probably seen his illustrations before. And this is pretty much just the 12 Terrors of Christmas, kind of poking fun of Christmas. Like number 11 is fear of returns, the embarrassments, the unseemly haggling, the lost receipts, the allegations of damaged goods, the humiliating descent into mercantilism's boiler room. So, and it just has the artwork by it, so just for something fun. This would probably be a good stocking stuffer if you want to give it to somebody. Alright, next one. This is a classic. I know a lot of people have recommended this book. I really enjoy this. I've reread it quite a few times since it's come out because it's perfect for this time of year, and that is Nosferatu by Joe Hill. I'm pretty sure most of you know the story of this, but I'm going to read the back anyway, and then, tell you why I like it. Victoria Vick McQueen has an uncanny knack for finding things. When she rides her bicycle over the rickety bridge in the woods near her house, she always emerges in the places she needs to be. Vick doesn't tell anyone about her unusual ability. Charles Talent Max has a gift of his own. He likes to take children for rides in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the vanity plate Nosferatu. In the Wraith, he and his innocent guests can slip out of the everyday world to an astonishing playground of amusements he calls Christmasland. Mile by mile, the journey across the highway of Charlie's twisted imagination transforms his precious passengers, leaving them as terrifying and unstoppable as their benefactor. And then comes the day when Vic goes looking for trouble and finds her way, inevitably, to Charlie. Now the only kid ever to escape Charlie's twisted imagination is all grown up and desperate to forget. But Charlie Minx hasn't stopped thinking about Vic McQueen. On the road again, he won't slow down until he's taken his revenge. So, I enjoy this a lot. The idea of Christmasland and just everything related to it was really solid. Vic McQueen is a great character, and just it's just such a wonderful read, and it's great to read this time of year and think about, Christmas Land and all the references and the world building that went into this book. I tried watching the miniseries that's on Hulu and just did not really get into it as much. Like, it just had a different feel for it, and I felt like they changed up and aged up the characters and some other weird stuff. So I only watched the first 2 episodes. So maybe it gets better, but it just didn't really suck me in the way that this book did. But it's great. I mean, look at that cover, all Christmassy and stuff. I also recommend, and I don't own a copy of it, but Wraith, which is the graphic novel that kind of follows Charlie Minx a little bit more. So definitely recommend that as well. So just everything involving Nosferatu and Christmas Land is a good Christmas read for something creepy. Okay, the next one is Krampus the Yule Lord by Brom, which, look at that cover. Alright, I'm going to read the inside really quick, and then I'm just going to show you a couple of the illustrations, actually, because this book is really, really cool. On Christmas Eve in a small hollow in Boone County, West Virginia, struggling songwriter Jesse Walker witnesses a strange spectacle. 7 devilish figures chasing a man in a red suit toward a sleigh and 8 reindeer. When the reindeer leap skyward, taking the sleigh, devilmen, and Santa into the clouds, screams follow. Moments later, a large sack plummets back to the earth, a magical sack that thrusts the down on his luck singer into the clutches of the terrifying Yule Lord, Krampus. But the lines between good and evil become blurred as Jesse's new master reveals many dark secrets about the cherry-cheeked Santa Claus, including how half a millennium ago, the jolly old saint imprisoned Krampus and usurped his magic. Now Santa's time is running short, for the Yule Lord is determined to have his retribution and reclaim Yuletide. If Jesse can survive this ancient feud, he might have the chance to redeem himself in his family's eyes, to save his broken dreams, and to help bring the magic of Yule to the impoverished folk of Boone County. Yeah, so Brom, he did The Child Thief, and he is also a descendant of Bram Stoker, who did Dracula. So I always thought that's really cool. But he's a talented illustrator. Each chapter opens up with a illustration in it, which I think is really cool. And this book, I enjoyed this book a lot. It's dark. There's some gruesome deaths in it. It really has a ton of mythology and folklore. Like, so much Norse mythology, also some Dutch mythology, a lot of traditions and exploring all of that. And Krampus himself is a very well-developed character, and he has these little servants called Belsnickels, and they also are very developed, I thought. And then, of course, looking at Santa, he's not like an evil Santa, but he's definitely the antagonist, because Krampus is kind of the anti-hero, but Santa Claus did some pretty terrible things, and it's kind of revealed that there's some mythology behind Santa that's based in Norse roots, so I thought that was really cool. Jesse, the main character, I felt like he could have been better developed, I think. I mean, it ends up working out fine in the end, but there was there were some cliches involving his character, I think. But it's still really fun. I definitely recommend it. I feel like more people should go check this book out. It's perfect for this time of year, and especially if you like darker elements of Christmas, or exploring traditions and why we do what we do and all of that, or if you have just an interest in Krampus mythology itself, definitely check this book out. It's super, super good, and it's a very fast-paced read too, because if you kind of look at, it's a big book, but the print is pretty large, and some of the pages are taken up by the illustrations, so definitely go check this guy out. Perfect creepy Christmas read. And so the last one, I'm gonna hold up a different book, because this book inspired the book I'm holding. So, The Afterlife of Holly Chase, but I'm actually referring to what inspired this book, which is actually A Christmas Carol. I've always thought that A Christmas Carol is kind of a creepy story at heart. It's a classic. It has ghosts and everything, and to be completely honest, it's the only Charles Dickens book that I really got into. I read a lot of classics as well. I haven't really reviewed any classics on this channel yet. And I really enjoyed A Christmas Carol, and I liked all the movies that have come from it. I remember as a very little kid really liking Mickey's Christmas Carol, so I definitely recommend going to the origins of that and watching it, or reading Christmas Carol and then watching some of the movies, because it has some very good messages to it. And I mean, the ghosts are creepy, and it's a very, this Victorian novel, and I really liked it a lot, and I typically tend to read it. I have no idea where my copy is, and I'm currently in the middle of reading The Afterlife of Holly Chase. This is pretty good, although it's definitely, like, not really horror at all. It's more just kind of a, supernaturally contemporary. I don't exactly know what yet. I have to finish this book, and then I'll know what to classify it as. But The Christmas Carol, I definitely would say go check it out. It's got some creep factor to it. Okay, now we're going into movies. So if you're my book-only fans, feel free to, go check out another video. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. But if you want a couple movie recommendations, stay tuned. So the first one I'm going to recommend is, this one is very entertaining to me, and it's Rare Exports. So kind of a theme of these books and movies in this, creepy collection is sort of taking the idea of Santa or the idea of Christmas and kind of making it a little bit darker. This movie is so hilarious at times and just so well done. And also the cinematography is great. I'm going to read the back to you so you kind of know a little bit about it, but it's good. Young Pietari lives with his stern reindeer herding father, Rauno, in Arctic Finland. On the eve of Christmas, an enormous excavation at a nearby mountain disturbs the locals and captures Pietari's curiosity. When Rauno's reindeer herd is mysteriously slain and the children in town go missing, Pietari realizes that the dig has unearthed the evil Santa Claus of local lore, who no one wants coming to town. Pietari's father rounds up a posse and captures the nightmarish creature in an attempt to sell him to the misguided leader sponsoring the dig. But Santa's freakish elves will stop at nothing to free their fearless leader, and what ensues is a fantastically bizarre holiday adventure that tests the bond of father and son and pits man against mythology. Yeah, this is great. I got introduced to this movie a few years ago, and since then it's become a classic. I highly recommend it. It's creepy, it's fun, it just takes everything about Santa and just tips it on its head, and there are a lot of killer Santa Claus movies and like slashers out there, but I think this is the best one because it's not necessarily a slasher. It has a lot more depth to it, so rather than like Silent Night, Deadly Night, or all of those movies, I think this one is the best one to pick up. And it is a foreign film. There will be subtitles or dubbing, but I think it's definitely worth it. So that's a good one. Another one, Gremlins, classic. I love this movie. It's fun, and this movie, fun fact, was a movie that inspired movie ratings to include a PG-13. Like before this movie, they didn't have PG-13, but there's a scene in this where basically a gremlin gets blown up in a microwave, and they're like, this is a little intense for a PG movie. What should we do? Since then, we have PG-13. I think everybody kind of knows the stories of gremlins. They come from Mogwai, and you don't want to feed the Mogwai after midnight or get it wet. There's like a bunch of stuff you can't do with the Mogwais, but they're super cute. And they're definitely like there's like one monologue in this in particular that's like kind of dark about what happened to this girl's father in a chimney and stuff. So it's definitely I think a really good Christmas horror movie. Just very classic, very fun, a little bit more lighthearted than a couple of the other movies, but I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't already. And I also have this movie, which is also like kind of lighthearted, but not really. That's Better Watch Out. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I was expecting it to, because I heard about it and I was excited for another Christmas horror movie, because I think I really enjoy holiday-related horror movies or themed horror movies. It's kind of like I try to watch a lot of horror movies around Halloween, and on Valentine's Day I always watch My Bloody Valentine. I think there should be more like Easter horror or 4th of July horror or something like that, because then I would start making those into traditions of what I would watch. So I picked this one up, and Better Watch Out was very good. There's a twist. It happens towards the beginning, but I'm still not going to say what it is, and I really appreciated that twist and thought it was a lot of fun. This is just steeped with atmospheric Christmas, just the whole thing, the lighting, what's going on. It's all very Christmassy and very fun, and basically there's a babysitter and these two kids, and they think that they're getting attacked, and it just goes from there. I don't want to say too much. I think you should definitely go into this not knowing what to expect. And then, of course, I don't have a physical copy of it, but Krampus, that came out in 2015, it's very good. It's the one that has the hand the cover is the hand holding the snow globe. It's a lot of fun, very engaging. I just watched it a couple nights ago with my dad. Definitely recommend that one. And then if you are looking for some, mindless slashers like Silent Night, Deadly Night might be a good one. But, and I am planning on going to see Black Christmas in theaters, maybe tonight or just in the next couple of days, because I am excited for that, and I've heard some pretty good things about it, because the 1970s Black Christmas was pretty good. I also do recommend that. I also don't own a copy yet, but the one that came out in the early 2000s is garbage. Just don't waste your time on it. So yeah, those are pretty much my creepy Christmas recommendations. If you have any creepy Christmas recommendations yourself, let me know. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm super excited to have 95 subscribers. That's amazing. And I am planning on doing a giveaway once I hit 100, so just stay tuned for that. I may not be able to get any more videos uploaded for the next couple of days because I am going to be doing holiday stuff. So if that's the case, have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy holidays if you celebrate something different. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, just happy whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate anything. And I will talk to you guys later. Happy reading.